live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Real good topics.
Yeah.
All right, this first one, Ali Marpet decided to retire at 28. He says he's concerned about his health moving forward. I want to ask the question, is this going to be a new trend? But I think this has kind of already been a trend. Maybe not a mass exodus, you know, but players kind of in their prime making the decision to retire because of their health, whether it be their mental health or their physical health.
Yeah.
And so we saw this yesterday when you were talking, you talked about, who was it? You talked, huh?
Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, like,
oh yeah,
popped up and said, "Oh," and you talked about Patrick, like, we had this whole conversation about this. So yeah. But I just feel like it has been happening, but I think this is on a different level. I think CTE is making people more cautious about, you know what I mean? Like, wait, what do I want the quality of my life to be as I grow older? Because this is only going to last for a little while. So I feel like that is part of the process, the process of thought process that they're going through, making these decisions. You know, they come in, you know, I feel like it's the, let me just get what I can get and get out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I scratched that itch. I accomplished that goal. I made me a little coin. Let me go do me.
Right.
So that the rest of my life is, you know, probably better, because it is a brutal sport and there are consequences, whether you ever experience CTE or not. But I told you I watched The Pivot with Raheem Morris after the Super Bowl, and I'm looking at this dude's finger. It looked like Dion's fingers.
Yeah.
I was like, see,
all over the place.
How you fit? I don't know how they do that. So, so I was like, okay. So there are consequences that your body, whether it's your mind or your physical body, are going to experience. So, you know, I'm here for it. Go get what you get, and be smart about what you do, with what you get, and then go do something else. But this is why what we do and why the project is so important, because before you even get to that level, you need to know who you are outside of this sport.
Right.
It kind of makes you motivate. It gives you more. You're not in this space of desperation. It makes me think about a situation where there's a spouse who doesn't work and the other one is taking care of the home, and there's a situation where they want to leave. They're stuck because they feel like this is all I got.
Right.
It's the same kind of thought in my head of like with football for some of them, because this is all I know.
Right.
I don't know anything else. So I got to do this until the wheels fall off, instead of, if I'm aware of what else I am and who else I am and what other purposes I'm here for, I can be like, oh, like I think about Myron Rolle.
Who?
Myron Rolle.
Myron Rolle, yes. Easy transition.
Easy. He was like, oh, I'm going to be a neurosurgeon. I'll see y'all. Like, you know, like that's why Calvin Johnson was like, oh, I can leave. I mean, he's done so much stuff in the realm of helping people with like water quality and all that kind of stuff when he was at Georgia Tech, that like, I'm good. I can go. It's not I'm not married to this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm here for it. Do what y'all need to do. I'm here for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Ukrainian Yaroslov Amosov welterweight Bellator champion has vowed to stay and fight for his country. And not only did he do that, he took his family to safety, and then he returned to fight for his citizens. So he made sure, or fight with his fellow citizens. He made sure his family was safe first, got them to safety, and then went back to be on the front lines with his fellow people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope. It was dope. I mean, it was brave, right? And it's been several of them. A couple of other boxers and other athletes have come out since this story to talk about their own, like, yeah, we're going to stay and fight.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, we talked about, I told you I cry just when I think about what they're going through. And and so I just think I pray for all of them. I look at their president and I see the weariness, but the strength is still there. And so I just hope that they, you know, are all safe when this is all said and done. Right. And I just thought it was a brave move on his part, because because I think what was initially reported was he fled, right? Because he was in the process of getting his family away. They thought he was going to stay. So how easy would it have been?
Right.
To just stay.
Yeah.
Wherever he was, right?
Right.
And so I thought this was just brave on his part. I feel like I'm talking a lot, Jarrett.
No, you good.
I feel like you go, no, I'm done. Okay.
No, I'm with you. You know, when we talked about the story during our production meeting, like I was saying the same. I was like, you know, we're starting to see like other athletes, you know, go and join these front lines. Yeah. And just the bravery that it takes, because, you know, they don't have like a large army.
No.
They are really putting guns in the civilians' hands and saying, like, listen, we got to protect what's ours. And the fact that they've been able to kind of hold it down, for as long as they have, it is admirable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Absolutely. And shout out to to even the players who are here in the United States who are of Ukrainian descent, that are, you know, pouring back in, giving aid where they can, through, you know, funding and all that kind of stuff. And I know that, I can't remember who it was. Was it the Jazz? I think it was the Jazz. They all wore like yellow socks the other night in unity with Ukraine. So just, you know, we always want to see people who have the influence, putting their influence out there in positive ways. So yeah. Good stuff.
All right, let's talk about this WNBA players, the WNBA Players Association, and their decision to opt out the current CBA. Or for those of you who don't know what the CBA is, it's the collective bargaining agreement. It's the document that they come together to create to say, all right, this is how we're going to run this league, and these are the things that we're going to set in place. And that encompasses certain rules. It encompasses how much money the owners will be paid versus what the players will be paid. And so the players are deciding to opt out of this agreement. And I think that the thing that maybe tipped the scales, or the straw that broke the camel's back, was the WNBA's decision to fine the New York Liberty $500,000 for chartering flights to their games. Because in the collectively bargained agreement, one of the agreements, or one of the things that they came to terms on, was that they had to fly commercially. How you feel about that?
Boss move on their part. I'll say that. Boss move on their part. They hold the cards. And when things are not conducive for you, and you hold the cards,
right,
and you use that leverage. And so that's what they're doing, and I love it. I feel like this is what they should be doing. And I find, and the thing is, you'll know because you're Mr. Business here, when did they when did they agree on this particular collective bargaining agreement? And the only thing I want to know is if it was before 2019.
Let me see. I feel like it had to be before 2019. I would think in order for them to opt out, it had to have been a situation where they were at least coming to the end, because usually CBAs are like every 10 years.
10 years, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But
so I feel like it hasn't been within this last 2 or 3 years. 2 years, right?
Yeah. So okay, 8 years.
8 years. Okay. So they're probably coming up on it.
They agree every 8 years. Oh no.
They just had one?
We must stand corrected, because you remember how they negotiated maternity leave and stuff like that into the last CBA?
That was in 2020.
That was 2020.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to, I guess, run until 2028. But they must have felt that they must have felt like, that was a thing. Because one of the things that we saw, and I'm reminded of this, is that there was something that happened with the Las Vegas Aces with their commercial flight, that they didn't make it to either make it to a game. I think they made it to the game on time, but they didn't make it with enough time to do the things they needed to do before a game.
Correct.
And the WNBA was just kind of like, oh well.
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yep.
And so to me, that would, I would, if I'm an owner of a team and I can charter flights, I'm like, well, I need to do something for my team.
Absolutely. To make this easier. And so for me, I asked the question because I feel like the WNBA finding the liberty, it was a liberty, right?
Yeah, the liberty.
Yeah. Finding the liberty, given the circumstances that have been happening, i.e. a global pandemic. If an owner has the ability to do so and is willing to do so to ensure, to ease the minds of his people by allowing them not to have to fly commercially.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right. And I feel like if there was some way that they could go back to the table on that and put like an amendment into the CBA, like I feel like that should have been done. Because I do understand that rules are rules, and you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, when we see that a rule doesn't work or that a law doesn't work and that it doesn't fit this present time, then things are adjusted. Like, that's the reason why the president has, executive orders, executive power to make certain decisions when things become dire. And I feel like COVID was a dire situation, like you said.
Absolutely.
And teams should have been able to fly, charter flights.
I mean, like, that's on the basic human level. And then to your point about what happened to the team, the Las Vegas team, like, that is a whole nother beast that we, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, so I'm good. I'm glad that they're bringing this back to the table. It makes it even more of a boss move that we only a few years into it, and you all are saying, no, some stuff needs to change.
Right.
And in that short time, in those 2 years, I think the world has changed in so many ways. Perspective has changed in so many ways, just because we've experienced a global pandemic. And I feel like that is why we need this. I feel that is why we need this. So good for them.
Yes.
That's what I say.
All right, I'm gonna call the audible. I know that we talked about time and stuff like that, but I'm gonna call the audible and throw in this, because this made me think about something that we haven't covered that we need to. Now, the MLB, they're also they're in talks about their CBA, and it just caused them to miss the first 2 series of the season. The way that this is played out, what do you think about that? What do you think about this MLB lockout and how these owners and players are going to have to move forward in order for them not to have such, now, because it's already going to be a shortened season, not to have such a shortened season.
I don't know why I feel like they go through this often. They just cannot. It feels like they go through this more often in professional sports, that they have these lockouts and these times. It just feels that way. And it's probably, I don't know, but it just feels like it happens a lot for the MLB. And there's so much money in professional baseball that they have a different mindset when it comes to what they want, need, or get. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I will be honest, because I knew they were in negotiations and talks, and I knew that they were, because I saw like one of the players tweeted out to the fans, I can't remember where he was, just saying, sorry, we won't see you all, we miss you, you know, that kind of thing. So I knew that we were at this point where they were like, yep, the season's not going to start on time. So, but I have not really paid attention to like, what's the holdup between the two? Like, what's the gripe? But either way, I feel like, again, this kind of goes to what I just said about the WNBA. Over the last 2 years, I think perspective has just changed on what's important, on even the social. It wasn't even just the pandemic, but even all of the social unrest that we've seen over the last 2 years has kind of sparked something in people to just be like, you know what, I got to stand up for myself. They feel more empowered to, you know, like, no, you know, things that might have been okay in the past because it's just the way it is, just the way it is. People are not, that's not okay anymore. And so I don't know the details of it, but I will say this: if they felt like it was important enough to not start the season, then I assume that it's pretty deep. Whatever that, I mean, I'm sorry, y'all, because it was an audible, so I really wasn't prepared to talk.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, but so I don't know details, but I will say, just from general outside looking in, that this is their right. You know what I mean? To stand up for whatever it is they feel like they need, whatever they're not getting, they need to stand up for it. I feel like it's an amazing thing, and I want them to get everything they deserve and everything they should have. And these well, let me stop. These owners need to recognize, while they feel like they hold the power, they don't. They don't. Because if those people left, you would have no game.
And that's the thing. I think that all together and collectively, if they made the decision to leave, understanding that they hold the power, that it would be good. But I think that because so many of them want/need the money, they're willing to, you know, relent the power back to the owners.
Absolutely.
Which is frustrating to see.
Yes, but this goes back to the whole point we were making before. If you know who you are outside of the sport, like a baseball player can play 2 years and be good for their life if they know what they're doing with their money. Because of the money they make. They make money like nobody else makes money. A baseball contract is juicy, okay?
Well, for the superstars,
Well,
I think basketball is starting to rival those contracts. And this is a larger conversation that we don't even have the time to get into today, but baseball's been overtaken by football and basketball, you know what I'm saying, as the leading sports in America.
Of course.
And if they aren't careful, they're going to get jumped by other sports leagues. And so those contracts that we see that are so large are going to end up starting to come down as far as the numbers. And so, But
either way, I don't know. I just feel like they, you know, I'm all, you know me, I'm all about power to listen. Just be empowered. Go do what you need to do. To get what you need, and don't, you know, Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Do I hate that it takes this that people won't see baseball? Yes. But we don't have to live their lives. So whatever they need, whatever they're trying to get,
go ahead, push for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.